I work for me, so I can say whatever the fuck I want to.
What's up, guys, and welcome to another episode of the Fouled Out Podcast. I'm here, myself, AJ Belanger, Hollywood, and then also I got Bell Jr., Chad Groves, and a special guest, the voice of Racing for Heroes Victory Lane, Mr. Kip Thompson. So tonight's show is presented by, as always, Precision Suspension. Make sure you call Sammy Speaks and those guys. Big congratulations. They have won the second time out on Precision Suspension.
Oh, yeah.
Down there. So make sure you go and check him out. Send a Facebook message to the page or give him a call, 704-746-8547. And he can get you hooked up and get you right. But tonight we're going to do a little bit of Speedweek's recap and also the Nut Up or Shut Up recap. And see exactly how everybody stacked up out there, man. Got some interesting things, bud.
Oh yeah. We definitely had a interesting week for sure. But we're gonna turn it over to Kip, and let him give us a little recap of the first thing with Speed Weeks, and then we'll, if any of y'all got any questions or anything to ask, please put your comments up, hit the like button, send us stars, share. You know, everybody get on here and let's watch this thing and have a good time.
Absolutely.
Yeah, well, Speed Weeks this year was just like it was the year before last. You know, we had a lot of cars there. Crowd was really good every night, especially as we led up to the weekend of Friday and Saturday, because, you know, we had the big King of the Cushion that you guys had actually originated right here in the studio, how that thing got so big. And it was just a really a fun week, and you saw some guys who have been in Victory Lane before. And seen some guys who it's been a long time since they've been in the Victory Lane. I remember right now seeing out of Lumberton, North Carolina, driving the number 40, Zach Cox, man, in the 602 late models. He's been around the racetrack for a long time, but he was able to capture a win that weekend and really did a phenomenal job. And, you know, just at Speed Weeks, it was really not any different than what we see at the Fayetteville Motor Speedway on a weekly basis when it comes to the legend cars. Mm-hmm. I mean, there was like over 50 cars there every single night.
That's right.
We had so many cars there that we actually had to run 2 features. And, man, there was like heat races for days every single night, you know what I'm saying? And then on Friday night, because other classes, we were trying to do the big deal about having the hot laps and heat racing and stuff for the King of the Cushion, we actually took the legend cars and actually ran 1 feature and did, I think, like 2 B mains to get people into the main event. Right. And it was really a great show. And again, Zach Cox picking up a win on the first night of Speed Weeks in the 602 crate late models. And as we rolled on through for the legend cars, I think it's Jaden Bolin won night number 1 in feature A, and then feature B, Drake Troutman. So both of those guys driving for 316 Motorsports, both of those guys were able to cap off a win with that team on night number 1. Right. Those 2 guys, I mean, definitely put on a show when they're at Fayetteville Motor Speedway. I mean, Jaden Bolin, without a doubt, probably one of the best wheelmen that I've seen, you know, come around there. And there's a lot of good drivers in that class. You know, everybody wants to come and see late models. Everybody wants to see, you know, the 602 crate late models, and they want to see the crate modifieds. But week in and week out, the number of cars that we have at Fayetteville Motor Speedway, it's absolutely hands down probably some of the best racing that actually goes on that racetrack. You know, a lot of good cars, a lot of good drivers, a lot of good teams, people who've been doing this thing for a long time. And, you know, I'm not going to jump too far into going into this week, but, man, what an exciting weekend this past weekend.
100%. And also, let's clarify something. So there was an A and a B main, but both of them were main events.
Yes.
So what they did at the Fayetteville Speedway, they split the field. Dave took the top 24, I think it was, from Group A, and then there was a Group B. So they consisted to make up 2 mains. So it was actually 2 features.
Right.
It wasn't like a regular B main at your Lucas Oils or anything like that. It was definitely 2 features. But I'm going to go back to Kip and let Kip sort of continue to recap on that as he moves to the other classes and tells you about the winners, the losers, and the different things that happened during Speedweek.
Well, on night number 1, Ethan Wilson, man, what a great turnaround it has been for Mackie Cox.
Absolutely.
Mackie Cox has had that race car for a long, long, long time, been competitive, but with Ethan Wilson behind the wheel, I mean, your chances are pretty daggone good.
Yeah.
I mean, he comes from good stock, and what a special time for those guys to capture. I think he won 2 races actually during Speed Weeks in that car. With everything going on with his mom and everything, that's got to be a real special deal for him too, to pick up wins like that. But there again, I mean, Mackie Cox, I mean, not many racetracks I've ever been to that I didn't see Mackie walking around with a pair of Crocs on or a pair of Sanooks or whatever it is he wears. He's there all the time, been there for a long time, and congratulations goes out to that team. They had a great week.
And speaking of that class too, we had old Sean Beasley came out of retirement for 1 race.
That's right.
During the Speed Week, so he was racing in, if I'm not mistaken, Mackie's car one of those nights. Yeah. So that was interesting.
Rocket.
To see him back out
of
there.
retirement. Yeah,
So he can definitely wheel one.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, it's about like riding a bike. You know what I mean? If you got it, you got it. And Sean had it there for a long time and still does. So, but we rolled over into night number 2, and in the Legends on the 24th in Feature A, it was Ryan Shabram, driver the number 15, and also pulling a doubleheader win back-to-back, Jaden Bolin in the 01 out of Holden Beach, North Carolina. There again, I said this when we had our very first, the first time I was in here with Swanee and Rooster. We remembered standing on the pad when Jaden had not been driving at Fayetteville Motor Speedway very long. But you could see his style and how smooth he was in driving a race car. And I looked, I think it was Swanee or somebody was standing right beside me, and I said, guys, I promise you, if that guy in the 01 car, speaking of Jaden, ever caught a break, that this would definitely not be his first time in racing for Heroes Victory Lane. And I'm telling you, he lived up to what I said. I mean, I think right after he won his first one, bam, 3 in a row.
Well, they usually come in bunches, so.
That's what they say, yeah. And it actually did for him, and he just did a really good job. That the week of Speed Weeks at Fayetteville Motor Speedway. And if you are listening with us tonight and you're watching the show, number 1, thank you for doing that. But if you haven't ever been to Fayetteville Motor Speedway, if you get that fever and want to start racing in February, man, we invite you to come join us because it's really a good show. I mean, there's just cars. I mean, it's not just your local guys who are itching to get out the gate and go run. I mean, there was guys from, Drake Troutman, he's from Pennsylvania.
Well, there's a bunch of guys.
And a lot of guys come from all over the place. Yeah,
a lot of. We had some Pennsylvania guys.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys who was there.
In fact, we had Pennsylvania guys here for the Nut Up or Shut Up too.
Yeah.
Last weekend.
Well, Dustin Parker got his first win of the year also in the Mid-East Modifieds. That Parker crowd. I mean, those guys have been around for a long, long time. It's like diarrhea, they say, man. It just runs in your genes, you know what I mean? But these guys are awesome. I remember back in the day of the X Factor, Chris Parker, and Daniel. I mean, Daniel, for 2021, he set the world on fire on dirt, whatever car he was in, whether it was in a UMP.
He didn't start 22 off too bad.
Yeah, at 22 he started it off as well too. But I mean, there every single week it was just like another Saturday night, another interview with Daniel Parker, and those guys, they've just been doing it for a long time, and hard work pays off. Eric Bentley, Eric Bentley's been around a long time too, and been in there with those guys.
He's a part of that clan.
They
all work together.
Yeah, and Austin Brent commented on here too that a lot of people didn't or recognize or know that we actually had a NASCAR driver that was down there racing too. Brett Moffitt was there.
Yeah, he was
in the Legend cars.
Mm-hmm. He sure was.
So,
also picking up a win out of Hopkins, South Carolina. It was Justin Mintz, driver the number 28. He picked up a win during Speed Weeks too, and it's good. Whenever it draws a lot of different race cars to the track, so. Nothing against our local guys, but same guys win all the time,
Right.
But, there was some really, really good great racing. I don't remember exactly which night it was, but you had a great run, AJ. The 24 car, I think, did you get past Timmy Mills right there at the flag to clip off second place one night, I'm pretty sure.
No, I think, did we get a second? Hell, I don't even remember. I think
you got a second in Speedweek.
I got
you got a second in Speedweek.
Yeah, and then one night I think I got third, but I was light at the scales. I didn't eat enough biscuits that night.
Imagine that. Imagine that. Yeah, but we started out on Wednesday, went to Thursday, and then Friday night, you could feel the atmosphere inside the Carolina Bull Ring start to build. Everybody was talking about the King of the Cushion Challenge.
Oh, yeah.
And we knew that this was going to be a big deal. And for me, that particular week, it was kind of a crazy week for me because we're working at Chat Lee. I had a boat show that weekend. And Speedweeks, actually, by schedule, could not have come at a worse time for me right. Because I worked all day Wednesday at the racetrack, back Thursday at the racetrack. And then Friday, I could not come because I had to be in Greensboro for the show. But I was going to make sure, whatever, if they were lined up to Winston-Salem ready to buy a boat,
right.
I was leaving because I wasn't going to miss that race because of the way this thing had been built up. And It actually, again, like I said, started right here in this studio. And, it just kind of really blew up. And, man, Saturday night, when I drove from Greensboro 2 hours to get to that racetrack, when I turned off of Doc Bennett Road and I went down that dirt road, I could see them all the way around turn 2.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, holy cow, man. You would have thought it was a Lucas Oil event. You would have thought it was a World of Outlaws event. You'd have thought this was like a $40,000, $50,000 race. There was people everywhere.
Yeah.
And it was just a great way. The hype for that race was one thing, but to cap off a great week like that at our hometown track and with that kind of people there, man, it was just unbelievable.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable. So Friday night they bring in the late models, to do their little hot laps and heat races and everything. And, of course, everybody was thinking, as we get ready to go into this deal, leading up to Saturday, there'd been that challenge that had been issued to Christian and to Willie. If either of those guys go to the back, 5,000 to win becomes 10,000 to win.
Absolutely.
And one thing that I want to say one more time, just to make sure that people hear exactly how this thing went down. It's something that you said, Bell, when we were in racing for Heroes Victory Lane before the race began. We were getting the crowd hyped up. And one thing that you said, man, that really hit the nail on the head. There was a lot of people that were instrumental in getting that money raised higher and higher and higher. And you pointed to the stand and you said it came from several different sponsors, but you, the fans, made that race what it was. And to everybody that's listening that was there that night, if you were with us, hey, thank you, because it was a really, really, really big deal. I mean, that place absolutely was electric.
It was. I mean, when I was, because I actually watched that late model race before I had to go out, and I couldn't find anywhere to see because I've got short man syndrome. So finally, I got pissed off. I walked up in the stands, walked all the way down to turn 4, and got on the very corner of the old concrete and stood up there so I could actually see. But the whole stands, it was packed all the way down, man. It was
like Kip said, I mean, during that time, you had working people. Not business people, not people that own their own business. You had working people putting their own money up to see that. You know what I mean? And again, you got to come in, Cheryl Sewell, Christian Thomas,
they had the ball
Price,
back.
Peter Milliken for taking a chance with high dollar equipment at that time, brand new equipment that hadn't been on a racetrack.
Well, and see, the question was, everybody was. And you heard people from everywhere, man, they ain't never going to go to the back. Man, they're not going to do that. Mm-hmm. Well, ends up the way things started or ended up for heat racing and where they qualified and stuff, they did start in the back. They had no choice. They had to go back there.
Right.
Yeah.
And, Wayne Gray Jr. and the crowd that fixes the racetrack, first time I've ever seen a berm like that all the way around the racetrack.
I like it.
And if you miss that, and you hop up, you're in trouble.
Yeah, and it definitely had a top groove because I mean I used it in 1 and 2 a lot during my race, but and Christian came up there. I mean I think he ended up finishing third. I was like he might get this. It was pretty close.
Well, the deal was that track that night for that event had character like I've never seen before, or like I've seen in a long time.
It definitely did, and the thing with that is a lot of people don't understand is Willie and Christian were running right there together.
Right.
They followed each other to the front, and Willie got caught up in with a car, a lap car, I think. I don't even remember if it was a lap car, if it was someone he was passing for position or whatever, and got messed his car up. But like you said, they really took the time to at least try to get that cushion there.
Well, it comes down to this. That particular night, the hype was so big for this race. The hype was so big for this race. And like you said, the working man who came not only to give money to that race, the working man and the family, they packed that place out. And those two drivers, and I'm not going to take anything away from anybody that ran up front, nor will I ever take away from the guy who won. So let me tell you this. Willie Milliken and Christian Thomas gave the fans exactly what they wanted. They saw one heck of a show. And it'll be one to remember. And I hope maybe next year in Speed Weeks at Fayetteville Motor Speedway, we can do something like that again, because that was just a phenomenal night. And there again, what I loved about it, the racing was great, but like I said, the fans from turn 1 all the way to turn 4, the ones who are standing on the Connex box over there where they made the stand over there in turn 1 that I think is actually really, really cool. I mean, it was electric.
Yeah.
From the drop of the green flag, it was just electric.
Well, and go ahead, AJ.
Well, I was just wondering, speaking of all the working people that actually, help put that thing on, I want to give them a shout out.
Absolutely.
Jody's DJ Service, All Star Home Improvements, Ricky Chavis, Racing Granny, Tony and Bobby Jackson, Raging Rooster, Henry Burnett with Cape Fear Land Maintenance. Also, Jason Maynard put up some money, the NC Nightmare, Denton Little with Tenco Concrete, 1-800 Plumbing. Let's see, Chat Lee. Let's see, shoot. Wayne Matthews, Joe Adam, Jason Prince. I mean, there was a lot of people that pulled some money out, and there was some other people that gave in some money that said, "I don't want, you don't have to say my name or anything," because they didn't. They just wanted to be a part of it.
And they didn't want people aggravating on the spot. But,
That's right.
But, I told Kip when we went up there, at the end of that race, I walked up to Kip and I said, man, we got to figure out how to get these guys some money.
Yeah.
Even though neither one of them completed the challenge and got there and won the race, I said, we got to figure out how to get them some money. So we called Dave on the phone, and Dave said, listen, I'm giving my $1,200.
All right.
No matter.
Right.
So he said, he actually said, I'll give it to whoever finishes in the front. And I said, well, listen, neither one of them won the race.
Right.
So if one of them's entitled to it, both of them's entitled to it. So I matched him and gave $1,200 too, because, like I said, them boys took a chance of tearing up their automobiles for some money, but also for the love of the game and for the love of the fans.
Yeah, and again, not to even take away, because I'm gonna tell you what, Dustin Mitchell that night was on a damn rail. He was in another zip code.
Zip code.
I mean, I was watching up there in 3 and 4, man, and he that thing was just set on kill from the very drop of the green flag. He was
he's
gone.
One of them guys, you like him or not, he's a fucking wheelman.
Yeah,
damn
right.
right.
I mean, he can drive one. And that's just the fact.
You can't take nothing away from that guy.
No, sir.
I tell people all the time, as far as local racers, you come down here and there's 5 guys at our racetrack that it's going to take a badass to outrun any week.
Yeah.
And that's not to take away from the other competitors, because there's a lot of competitive cars. But like you said, with it being a weekly feature and us seeing the same cars all the time, you can cull it down to about 5 that you can just about be sure. If you took those 5 and give everybody else the field every week, you wouldn't lose a race.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, and it's we're proud to be able to say that Dustin is. I consider him one of our local boys.
Absolutely.
I mean,
he is.
And I mean, him and Corky helped you with your car.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, that is Dustin's old car. I mean, that thing, it was up front. I mean, when I got it, so I didn't have any excuses. As Sammy likes to say, no excuses.
Yeah. Well, that night, when that race was over with, when I interviewed Dustin, he was just like, he knew the hype. He knew what was going on.
Right.
And there was no way that he was going to go to the back. But, I mean, if you sit up there and you're on the pole and you're faster than everybody, why would you?
Yeah.
Go ahead. It's the first race of the season, quote, unquote. Hey, I can go ahead and pocket my $5,000 and I can go on home. And Dustin said in the interview, hey, we came here with a purpose, and he came to do business, and that's exactly what he did. Right. But there again, I mean, back to the fans, thanks for everything that y'all did for that. That particular race was definitely, without a doubt, the highlight thus far this year, and it'll have to take something really, really big to take precedence over that race that particular night. But there again, Willie Milliken, Christian Thomas, those two guys are fierce competitors, can drive the wheels off of whatever they want to. And let me tell you, weaving through lap traffic, even when Willie got up that one time, I mean, he was clipping them off, man, just as fast as he could. And then because of a couple of cautions, thanks to a caution, he gained 5 spots one time.
Yeah, okay.
And that was a really big deal for him, which it helped out. Michael Batten had a strong car that night too. Really strong car.
Getting up, caught up.
Him in the 4 car.
Yeah.
That I don't know what was actually going on with that, and I don't know that anything was deliberate there or not. But anyway, he fell out of the race. But he had a really good car there that night too. I think that was a borrowed car too. I think he had borrowed that car from someone. If I don't know if I'm saying that 100% correct, but I think they told me he borrowed that car from somebody. Not sure, but I can tell you that, I mean, there was not only a good group of cars, but it was quality race cars all the way through the field. I mean, it was just a really great night. But on that night, before that, let's go back to Friday night leading up to that. This is the night that they had so many legend cars there that we couldn't run another
53.
feature. There's 53 cars there, and they run B mains to get into the race. And as I said earlier in the week, it was Jaden Bolin and Drake Troutman. Well, lo and behold, on Friday night, it's 2 of the 316 Motorsports cars. Drake Troutman gets the win, Jaden Bolin second. So those 2 guys right there were up at the front again. And it was just that was a really good a week for those guys. Daniel Parker picked up his first win, as you said, kind of picking up right where he left off last year. That 602 late model, he had a great week, great showing at Speedweeks. Also picked up a really big win at Friendship before he came to the Nut Up or Shut Up last week. And the guy, I mean, he's just on a rail, man. You know what I'm saying? He's got. I knew when he had that Larry Shaw race car, the 10 and the UMP modified, the cat's got something figured out. The guy is good.
Well, a lot of people don't know it, but Daniel's very, very, very smart when it comes to a race car. Mm-hmm. In fact, Chris, a lot of people give Chris and them credit, and Chris will tell you fast. Daniel's way, way smarter than I am with a race car. And then you got Dustin and Eric over there with him, and, he's sharing that knowledge with them boys, and it shows. It shows everywhere they go.
Oh, yeah.
Well, they're good everywhere.
Randy.
Oh, Randy Calder. Yeah, Randy Calder's been around a long time.
Ain't no joke.
Oh, yeah.
He's the one as many races out there as anybody.
Oh, yeah.
You can't name a crew chief just off your head.
Right.
That's won any more than him. I promise.
With all kinds of different drivers.
Well, that whole crowd, I mean, that Parker family, I mean, you talk about, let's go back to Dwayne Parker.
Yep.
Let's go back to Danny Parker, who won Hava Tampa in 1996 at Fayetteville Motor Speedway. Unbelievable. And I can remember that forever because when he met my boys just thought Danny Parker walked on water. And that helmet that he was driving the night when he won the Hava Tampa race at Fayetteville Motor Speedway in 96, he gave that to my kids. And so that was kind of a pretty cool little deal for my boys, at a very young age. Right. But as we cap off the big night and round up North Carolina Speed Weeks, of course, the big race of the night, as you said, man, another zip code. I mean, class of the field. Dustin Mitchell in that 32, he brought it. I mean, he brought it. He had a purpose, and he did exactly what he intended to do, was to get it out front, keep it there. And, what really was going to be interesting in that deal to me is Fayetteville Motor Speedway, the new configuration of the track. Mm-hmm. When you've got more than 15 cars on the racetrack, at the horsepower these guys carry,
lap traffic.
If you have green flag racing, who can weave through the lap traffic? That's always going to be one of the biggest keys to winning. Patience and knowing when to go and knowing what to do in lap traffic. Yep. And, he put on a clinic that night.
Well, and the thing is them guys has got something figured out too.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, because they're fast every time. If he don't wreck that car the other night, that car's fast.
Oh, yeah.
And he was trying to get through there. And
dude, he was driving the wheels off of that thing, trying to get back up the Roush.
About it. I was like, I told you, I said, if that thing's got anything left in the tank to get the Roush, he's going to get it there.
Oh, yeah. And he gave it everything he had. There's no doubt about it. When that caution
come out, he had him. He just didn't have enough to pull it off.
And it looked like, almost like you said, I remember you pointing it out to me, when he got caught up there, like the pivot point in that car was just like a V.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he was giving it every single thing he had, and really did a good job there. But legend features that night when we get into through all the heat races and the B mains and trying to figure out, it was. I mean, it was crazy. I
All
mean,
the wrecks.
but it was great.
Get the wreck.
I was in
On the
big
wrecks,
main
yeah.
that
I don't know how he win. How many the most wrecks that night? Or
night. I got
Probably.
it.
Probably.
That was this past Friday.
but Ryan Shabram picks up a win there on the 26th, the Saturday night race, and so congratulations go out to him. Also, Eric Bentley picked up his win in the crate modified race, and
There you go, Matt.
It was
he
just
said Eric's name.
it was just a great event. North Carolina Speedweeks. Once Fayetteville Motor Speedway puts out their schedule for next year, probably be about around the same time. They're in the month of February, around the 23rd. Could be in the middle of the month toward the end. Go ahead and mark your calendars and make plans to be there.
Yeah.
I know it's tough trying to get there Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday for the fans. It's tough on these drivers too. You know what I mean? Fuel prices, tires. Can't nobody get tires. But these guys, everybody came out, and I would say on behalf of the Fayetteville Motor Speedway that no doubt North Carolina Speedweeks this year was definitely a success.
100%. And again, without giving mention to Dave, Shay, Wayne
Staff.
Gray,
Yeah.
Freddie, Cindy,
Everybody
all the
employees,
everybody
yeah.
that has anything to do, if it's the person giving out the wristbands to the person that's leading you on the track, turn one, Tony, whoever, you in Victory Lane, Billy Mack in the tower.
It takes everybody.
I mean, it takes a gang, and man, Dave is he's really, really, really put forth the effort to try to make it something for the fans.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Well, a lot of people,
And it's an experience. He's making it an experience.
He is, and a lot of people really don't know. The average guy who comes to Fayetteville Motor Speedway any given Saturday night, any given Friday night, they just think, probably to some degree that, hey, we just show up and cars hit the track. No.
Yeah,
what
that's
you said, it takes a village. It takes a crew to do it. Because, I mean, even the people who, like Mandy and Katrina, who are up there doing timing, I mean, all you people that sit at home and want to look up on Race Monitor or My Race Pass, that stuff don't get there without those people.
Yeah.
That's right.
It takes those people to do that kind of stuff.
And I also tell people, like during a normal feature week, like a regular Saturday night run, hell, I call Dave Wednesday. He's at the racetrack.
Yeah.
Call Wayne Jr. Wednesday night after he's done pulled 8 at his business. He's out there on a motor grader
Till midnight,
Yeah.
1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning.
And like I said, we all should appreciate, what they do for us as the racing community.
Well, check this out. When you start talking about a guy like Wayne Gray and Dave and Freddie,
Well, they love it. It's in their blood.
well, they do love it. But here's what happens. People don't realize, okay, we're done racing. It's 11 o'clock. It's 12 o'clock. We're loading our stuff up. We're going to go home and get ready tomorrow. Well, you're leaving. Everybody's leaving. And these guys are busting the track up and sealing it off and getting ready. So you got a place to come and watch a great race the next night. Well, that week it was, they even did it like a practice, I think, on Tuesday night.
Yeah.
So you had Tuesday night, you had to prep it, probably started
Every night except for Sunday and Monday there was a race.
Well, but actually,
some kind of cars on the track.
right, but actually probably when it gets right down to it, probably that Sunday afternoon and Monday, Wayne, Freddie, and Dave were there getting ready
100%.
just for Tuesday night.
Right.
Just for Tuesday. And so it goes Wednesday night, Thursday night, Friday night, then, to get ready for the big show on Saturday night.
Dave come on here and said the dates for Speedweek in 2023 will be February 23rd, 24th, 25th, and 26th.
That's exact same dates it was this year.
I need to take off all week.
And,
AJ
yeah,
suggests you do
exactly.
That's exactly
And
right.
then Megan Batten, I'm assuming that's Michael's wife.
Yeah, I would. Yep.
She
I
said,
would
yeah,
say
we had a really good car. Ended up having to start in the rear of the race and made it up to battle for third and fourth before the wreck. It was a disappointing night. Yeah, it was a disappointing night for them. But like you said, I mean, things happen when you're talking about coming from the rear of that kind of field.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there's a good chance that we had it in our minds basically that Willie and Christian probably wouldn't make it back to the front just because of there was several long periods of green flag laps, and they got into lap traffic, which made it easier for the leader once he got through the lap traffic to get away.
That's right.
And
then see when you're in lap traffic with other guys trying to get ahead, there's somebody holding them up. Well, and they're not going to junk somebody just to try to
Right.
get where they want to go.
Right.
But one thing that just popped in my mind as we started talking about, and you named off different people, Turn One Tony and the different people, man. How could you plan on going to a racetrack and not seeing Jim the Jeep Man?
I was about to
Oh,
say
yeah.
the same.
Yeah.
How could
And
you
I didn't
not
think
go
about
without
that.
seeing Jim the Jeep Man?
I was about to say
This
the same
guy,
thing.
I mean, you know, you Fayetteville Motor
Richard.
Speedway or Lakeview, whatever. I mean, Jim the Jeep Man is like an
He's a
icon.
legend.
He's an icon
legend.
at Fayetteville, you know, and he just does so much stuff for that racetrack. And man, he's there, rain, sleet, snow, shine, whatever, man. It doesn't matter. Jim the Jeep Man, you can count. When you get to the racetrack, he's already beat you there.
Well, that
he's there.
too. On that point too. I mean, if something happens in 3 and 4, believe me, I know. I've been into a bunch of them. He's first guy there.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and Jim, and people don't realize Jim drives that Jeep rain, sleet, snow.
Yeah.
I've worked with him for 20 years.
It doesn't matter.
20 years.
Leaving Dublin Motor Speedway, coming down 87 with a poncho and goggles on his face. It didn't matter. It didn't stop the Jeep Man. You know, so our hats off go to you, Jim the Jeep Man. Sure, without a doubt, next time we're at the racetrack at Fayetteville, we know we're going to see you there.
100%.
So we roll into getting back into the Nut Up or Shut Up. Friday night and Saturday night event, man, it was absolutely a great show both nights. 602
Hey,
late
Kip,
model.
before
Yes,
you go any further,
Yes,
I
sir.
want you to respond to this one.
who is it?
Stephen Batten said, wouldn't have been back there if it wasn't for Joe Dirt cutting Michael's tires down before even taking the green on Friday night. Okay, we're going to need to know who Joe Dirt is,
Who is
Stephen.
Yeah, come on, Stephen.
We're going to need you to comment on here and tell us who Joe Dirt is.
Yeah, hit us back on that, Stephen. We know you're watching, so
And the thing is,
clarification.
I'm not laughing about the wreck or anything like that. I'm laughing because me and Kip was talking because we know that there was a little history there between the four Matthew Nance. There was a little history there between the four and Batten, and me and you were talking like what's going to happen.
Yeah, what's
if he
gonna happen here?
If he gets up to him, what's going to happen? And then hell, I think we jinxed him.
yeah. Well, coming off of turn 4 there, I'm not exactly sure who checked up, who turned, who whatever, but it definitely ended the night for Michael Batten. It was a bad situation, man, because Batten had
His shit was fast,
I mean, man, and Michael Batten can wheel it too, man.
can.
He's a really good race car driver.
Found this on the
But
web.
easy. So as we roll into Nut Up or Shut Up, we had 602 late models, and of course Daniel Parker. He's back on the pad on Friday night, and when we had our limited late model deal, they raced for $1,500 on Friday, and then it increased to $3,500 for Saturday. Hands down, Sweet Potato Express.
Yeah.
Oh, fast.
Class of the field.
Yeah, he was
Class
fast.
of the field. If you
Both
want to go
nights.
ahead, if you want to go back and echo one more time, another zip code talking about Dustin Mitchell, and I've always thought I was kind of surprised. I was thinking that Roush was a master build. That's a new Longhorn.
Oh, yeah.
That's a brand new Longhorn, and I'm gonna tell you, the Sweet Potato Express out of Wilson, he had it set on keel on Friday night, and as we go into Saturday night, there he was again.
100%.
And Willie Milliken was right there with him at the beginning part of the race. But, I just think sometimes at Fayetteville, when you come off of turn 4 and you got a seasoned veteran, and I'm not saying that Willie Milliken's not a seasoned veteran because, by God, he is. I can tell you that. But coming off of turn 4, getting into turn 1, if that guy can wheel it, and if the roles had been reversed, it might have been the same thing. Had
And
Willie
it
been on the
would've.
pole,
It would've.
had Willie been on the pole, I mean, he drove that thing down into turn 1 and got past Willie. But as that race progressed on Saturday night, I mean, sometimes, and I've told Willie this week, it's better to be lucky than it is to be good.
Absolutely.
Because-
the thing of it is, and I think the same thing. I was standing up there on Victory Lane with you, waiting for that to go down, and because of course like you, we sponsor Willie,
Yes, sir.
and we were standing there talking, and I was like, Kip, I think he's slowing down. I think he's trying to save his stuff, and then all of a sudden, pop, and there he is. He's in the catbird seat.
Yeah, well, the way that deal works out is really, and it's funny that you say that because okay, let's back up. Roush is out front. He's checked out.
Hey, he's checked out. He's gone.
Okay, tire goes down. It's racing. Man, it happens. Then there sits the haymaker, Sean Harrell, who's probably one of the smoothest guys around the Fayetteville Motor Speedway that you will find in this area,
especially out front.
And especially when let me tell you, when that black capital is dialed in, he is hard to guard, especially right there. I think if you go back to what we're talking about, had the roles been reversed with Willie on the outside and Roush on the inside, don't ever let Harold be that one that starts on the pole on the inside, because he's going to beat you to the corner.
Oh, yeah.
Most of the time, he's going to beat you to the corner. So Roush
forward to be coming on the other end.
So Roush cuts down a tire, and then there's Sean Harrell. He kind of pulls off, and Willie is a smart driver. He knew what was going on. So in his mind, I'm thinking, hey, I gotta save my tires, but I still got to have enough here to go when I got an opportunity to go. Pop, there goes Sean Harrell. Well, Willie can get on his knees tonight and thank the good Lord above that he did not have another restart or more than 2 laps left in that booger, because let me tell you,
there definitely won't.
You see my head up under this headset. That's
as
what that right
there.
rear just looked like.
Let me see that again. Bend that down.
I mean, she was ashy gray, baby. It was over with. That tire was about to go.
It turned into which I was in the chute waiting to go out for my race, but I noticed. Matter of fact, Coy, my big guy, came over and said, "Man, they're popping tires," which I had went.
Racetrack good.
Yeah, the racetrack, it was good. It really was, but it brought another element of where it was tire management. Because Jerry Johnson earlier in the night, he had burned off a tire, and so I kind of knew that going into it, and I went and looked at the track. But I think, like you said, when the first one went down, they were probably thinking, there might be something in the track or something, because I think they actually sent guys out there to see if there was something in the track.
Well, after that caution, there were several of the people walking or riding around four-wheelers and other vehicles, whatever, to see if there was debris on the racetrack. I do remember that.
Well, the racetrack was just good and black.
Yeah, and it was good. And it wasn't slick.
No,
either.
It was not slick. It had plenty of bite in it. And this is what people don't understand.
Fast.
When that racetrack gets like that right there, and it gets fast like that right there, then setup sort of goes a little bit out the window.
Yeah.
And drivers come into play then.
That's right.
And you got to be willing to keep that thing on the wood.
Yeah.
In fact, during all of this talk that we're talking about right here, we forgot Emery was right up there too.
Yeah.
And Emery blew a tire.
Oh, yeah.
And I know me and you've talked about that deal, and I told you I seen Christian in the mall, and he asked me what I thought about that deal, about him getting black flagged or getting sent to the back for that deal. And I said, I told him straight up, I said, look, man, it can be a 1 or 2 way thing here. Do I think that he got into him and just junked the man's stuff? No, I think he was up there committed to the high side in the gas, and the man blew a tire. And he said, okay, am I going to jam the brakes and junk my stuff, or am I going to go on and help him out and keep on going?
Right.
And it's one of them situations where as spectators or looking on, we can say, well, we'd have done this or we'd have done that.
There's hundreds of coaches in the stands.
100%.
But when you get behind the race car, and let's sit here and talk about, hey, well, I'm not picking on Chad, but
you can't.
Man, he drove in there, man, and drove too hard. Why'd he do that? Well, you go sit in it.
Charlie
and
said
be in
that.
his situation.
Charlie said that Saturday night, but Ryan did.
And you see that. You know what I'm saying?
And like I said, my personal opinion, Charlie does a good job, as race director. Do I think he missed them 2 calls? Absolutely, I do. I mean, because when
which 2 calls you talking about?
Speaking of
his
incidents with Chad and Ryan,
okay,
and the incident with Christian, I don't think Christian went in there and junked the man's stuff on purpose. I think that in his mind he's committed, he's in the gas, and all of a sudden the 9 car stops because he immediately pulled it up to the high side, not knowing that Christian was on the high side.
Right.
And because he's going to try to let the cars pass and get it in the pits. And it just so happened that Christian was there in the gas. That's my opinion.
Well, one thing about that too, and not trying to take up for Charlie, because I'll tell you how.
I know it's hard to watch it all.
Let me tell you how hard it is to do what that guy does.
100%.
Because I've stood right beside him and I have announced races in that press box, okay? And for us to all know, obviously now, by hearsay, or maybe somebody was in another position than we weren't, man, Charlie can't tell that guy's right rear went down.
Right.
He can't tell that, especially coming off a turn two like that.
He can't tell that guy's already got loose or checked up.
Whether the deal is where it come down to this, was the right call made for Christian to go to the back? I can't say that.
Right.
I don't know. Right. It's not my call. I carry a microphone at racetrack. I don't wear a headset.
Right.
But, I think there was some question.
Well, there was some chatter on the internet, and there were people that were saying that they thought he got DQ'd and everything because of the rough driving. And we all know that he didn't get DQ'd because of the rough driving. He got DQ'd because Cheryl told him to take a right turn. He told him to turn off the racetrack.
Turn right, you get.
And the car belongs to Cheryl, so he's going to do whatever he's told to do.
That's right.
By his boss. But he asked me straight up, and everybody knows Willie Milliken's my horse. But I'm going to tell the truth, whether it's whoever it is. You know what I mean? If Willie had been in that same situation and you ask him what he'd have done, you might get a completely different answer than what Christian said, or you might get the same answer. If you were in that situation and ask you what you would have done, you might get a different answer. That's it's same thing as opinions.
Right.
I mean, you're going to get a different one from whoever you ask. But and we get the opportunity of rewinding.
That's right.
Yeah.
And look.
Yeah.
Because we can do this while Charlie's still up there saying, did I make the right call or not? We can go on our phone and go to Fayetteville Motor TV and rewind it while it's playing and go right back to that scene and see what happened.
Right.
He can't do that.
No, he can't. Not at that time. Not when he's live, he can't.
And like I said, I ain't taking up for him because he's gonna make a bunch of good calls and he's gonna make a bunch of bad calls.
That's right.
Because he's human.
Well, if
And he can't watch
let me just tell you
everybody.
this. If race directing was easy,
Everybody
would do it.
100%.
Oh, I guarantee you that.
If driving a race car was real easy, everybody would do it.
You see a lot more people in the winner's circle.
That's exactly right. Yeah, you see a whole lot more. But back on that deal that we're talking about, you talked with Christian.
Yeah.
And, and I think we saw on a Facebook post today, Cheryl had gone out there and said, it was printed in a text that he put, or not a text, but a post. Team 06 gets sent to the rear for rough driving and disqualified. And he made it public this afternoon that he didn't have to have anybody tell him that his car got disqualified, and he knew why. The car was disqualified not because of a call or the incident that went on the racetrack. At Fayetteville Motor Speedway, if you take a right off of the racetrack, you are disqualified.
That's right.
Yeah. So that's, for people who didn't see that, they're watching us, I mean, it is what it is. That's what happened. However, going back into that race, one of the best driving moves or being able to hold a spot, right before, you remember this because we were standing side by side, when Roush come off of turn 4, he blew his tire on that restart.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that?
Yep.
Sean Harrell and Willie Milliken were right there and shot down. And how in the world they did not wad up 3 race cars, I will never know. Right. I will never know. That was probably as strong, good driving as I've seen.
I think Emery got through that one, right? Because he was running up there in the top 5.
I can't remember if that happened before Emery cut his tire. I can't remember if Emery was still on the track. I mean, man, when I'm up there, I'd see those cars going by. All them races start to run together to me after a while.
Oh yeah.
But that was an awesome night, Saturday night, and there again, Roush, he was the class of the field that night. But that's just racing, It happens. It happens to the best of us. It happens, But one thing that was really, really special because, as you say, Willie's your horse. He's mine. My name's right up under yours. Right. You up on top of me as always. But our name's on his race car, and I do support Willie Milliken.
Absolutely.
I like Willie Milliken. I'm a Willie Milliken fan. I'm a Sean Harrell fan. But hey, look. On throughout the field of cars, I love the sport of dirt racing. I don't care who you are, what car you drive, who you drive for, or whoever gets on Facebook says whatever. I love the sport of dirt track racing, and that's just how it goes. But I just lost my train of thought. That particular night, I mean, that was an awesome deal. But as we get back to talking about so many people that it takes to run a racetrack. We need to stop right now and give credit where credit is due, fellas.
Yeah.
Very, very scary situation at our racetrack.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Saturday night. And let me just tell you right now,
Yeah.
Fatback Matthews and Skippy, that
All the paramedic guys.
all those paramedic guys,
Even Jason
Dove
Hewlon,
over
Kevin Dove, all of them.
dude, let me
they
tell
were
you.
racing
Dude,
and run over there to that incident.
They were all over that car. And how fitting is it? How fitting is it? And I'm not tooting my horn because I said this in Victory Lane, but we did a little bit of a memorial for Bucky Islander, who passed away
right.
before the race. And I said to the fans, you guys don't understand that for our drivers and our teams, these guys with Pierce Mill Fire Department, we have heroes on the ground here
Yeah.
that respond to when a car spins out, a car has a wreck. We'll stop races because somebody has a diabetic situation up in the stands, or somebody gets a heat exhaustion or whatever. And those guys, without hesitation, man, are on the scene, bam, just like that. On Saturday night.
I don't know if you went over there. I think you
I
were
did.
stuck. Did you go there?
I did. I went over
mean,
there.
They cut that car up with the jaws of life.
Well, and what's so funny about it? Well, there's nothing funny about it, but the way that car is set up with that roll cage and everything in that car, when you sit in a car like that, I mean, there's no room in there, man.
Well,
and let me tell you, Skippy, the guy who is with drives the rescue squad there at the racetrack, he was in the cockpit. He was in the cockpit with Leighton, brother. And how he got in there, I do not know. But those guys did a phenomenal job. Our hats need to go off to those guys. And if you see those guys at the racetrack, hey, stop them and thank them for what they do. They saved that kid's life the other night.
100%.
Yeah. They saved his life.
And I want to tell you this, too. A lot of people don't realize that when you're in a situation like that right there and you're dealing with a person that's unresponsive, that's dead weight. If that man weighs 200 pounds, it's like he weighs 600
Well,
pounds.
it's like Fatback said. I talked to him on the way home. You know, whenever you see a rescue personnel, fire department, EMS people who have a car on the side of the road and somebody's got to be cut out of the car, okay? Basically what they'll do, they'll take that passenger door, cut it off, roll the roof back, and pull them out of the side of the car. Well, you couldn't do that with that. This would be like the equivalent of my truck, me getting in a wreck out here, and you three guys trying to pull me through the sunroof. That's exactly pretty close to what it was. And I'm going to tell you, man, those guys went to work. And, man, there was people over there. I'm just telling you, man, there were people over there praying. There were people over there crying. I mean, because the guy, Leighton, hits the wall in turn 4 with his right rear. Hits the wall so hard it turns him completely around. He slaps the wall. Well, he pace slaps around, and Dave pulls him off the track. and Leighton helps us at the racetrack sometimes when he's not racing. And so Dave went over and told him, hey, the reason why I black flagged you is not because of the wreck. Your drive shaft's about to fall out. It wasn't safe to drive. Well, he sits there and talks to the guy for 10 or 15 minutes. The race is over. He drives over the racetrack, goes to the water tower, takes a left, and gets right. And Leighton even made the comment a day or two later that the only way he knew where he was going, because everything was so blurry and he was dizzy, and he leaves his lights on at his trailer when he's racing. A lot of people cut their pit lights off, off their trailer. Mm-hmm. He was able to see his light and had enough mindset there to know where he was going, and he pulled that car over there. Well, so he sits there in the car for probably 10, 15 minutes. I think Daniel Johnson might have been the first guy who got to him. He goes over to it, and, man, he was non-responsive. Yeah. I mean, and that's a scary deal. Like you talk about non-responsive, absolutely dead weight. And Kevin Dove, son, was on top of that car with Fatback and Skippy and
Jason Hewlon.
And Brian was over there. Yeah. And, there again, I'm a guy who loves to give credit where credit is due.
That's right.
And those guys do a phenomenal job, and we are thankful and we are blessed that there are people in a situation like that. They know exactly what to do.
Yeah, there's Leighton. Yeah. Leighton just commented right there. He said, yo. But, man, that was definitely a scary situation for him and for everybody. Because at the time, nobody truly knew what was going on. They thought he got hurt. They were like, oh, they're getting the backboard in there. He must have got hurt when he hit the wall. They didn't realize he was non-responsive.
Yeah.
They didn't realize.
Was out.
Well, and so many, and me and you even talked about that night when we were waiting in Victory Lane. Yeah. We was like, so many things could have happened right there. I mean, he could have went out and foot on the gas and
drove right over that crowd.
crowd or somebody's truck or anything, and hurt himself even worse or somebody else.
Well, it just got so crazy because we're sitting there running an open wheel we're running the 602 crate modified race,
yes. Right.
And all of a sudden the red light comes on and there's not an accident on the track. Mm-hmm. There's no caution. And so basically, obviously, okay, there's a medical condition outside. These guys get called out. They go over there. Well, I'm just sitting there thinking, man, what in the world's going on? Well, my son, Philip, calls me and says, Daddy, they're cutting a halo off a car over here. And I'm just like, what, did somebody flip into pits outside? I mean, how do you do that? Yeah. What happened? So it's just so I'd make sure my kids were okay. I go out there and kind of see what's going on. Mm-hmm. And then when I saw it, I mean, that's Leighton, and then as you get over there, the closer you get to it, the uglier it got.
No doubt.
And the worse you felt for him. And, man, to stand there and to see his dad walk across there, man, with those coveralls on, man, with the most helpless look on his face. But Fatback Matthews and that whole entire crew, again, man, and even the people who came from Cape Fear Valley Hospital and the rescue squad or wherever they came from, those guys did a phenomenal job, man. They were passing oxygen tanks around in there, man, to get the guy oxygen to get him back, and it was scary.
For the people who might wonder, why weren't they still racing? At that moment, nothing else matters but the safety and the well-being of that person that's in that situation.
Well, we can't
and also you've got to think of those cars are so loud, those emergency responders need to be able to communicate. Right. Not to mention, if there's another wreck that's going on, you've got your emergency personnel over here. So well,
I think the rule on that is, too, that just so people know that you have to shut it down. We cannot be under green flag racing at Fayetteville Motor Speedway or any racetrack without fire and EMS personnel in the pit area. And
that is the way it should be. So,
absolutely.
When you see racing not going on, and we talk about, earlier you said Fayetteville Motor Speedway TV or Fayetteville Motor Speedway.tv. That's another thing. Guys, go and make sure that you subscribe to that, because if you're like me and you race out there, I don't have anyone, unfortunately, if mom or somebody doesn't go to record the race, but you can go and subscribe for $14.99 a month, and the next day you can go back and watch your race. So that's something that I don't know if has been put out there a lot. But it's pay-per-view. Every race that it's live.
Well,
you
actually,
can go
what's
and watch
neat about that, it's neat for somebody like me or everybody in this room right now, because you're working with Chad on his car. You're over there working on your car. So the only race that you actually really see is the one you're in.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's what you see.
That's exactly
so
right.
Basically, you can go back and, there again, it's a fun deal what I do in Race of Heroes Victory Lane, because you get a guy who's all pumped up. And, because we said this earlier this year when I was in here with Swanee and Rooster. Gosh, Swanee and Rooster talking about how many times you have a guy who gets multiple wins at the racetrack, man. It's just, okay, man, here comes Daniel Parker again. Daniel Parker won, and not that I get tired of that or not. I don't, because, he's good and he's going to win. Last year I had Christian Thomas. My God, 6, 7, 8 times. Every single time he put on the track, I had him up there in Victory Lane. But I also made mention, there's always that one guy that Saturday night. It's going to be his night. And let me tell you, it was, when I talk about a crowd being electric, Stedman, North Carolina native, the Hulk.
No doubt.
Ronnie Long pulls off a win. Shot collar therapy. Ronnie did a great job. And bless his heart, he comes off the racetrack. He goes beyond the flag. One for here and one to go.
I was going to knock him out on pace lap.
Oh, yeah, you were sitting over there just egging him on. I saw you on the straightaway over there. But the guy just comes in, takes a left into the pits, and then just pops right up on the pad. And I'm looking at, when he finally comes back up there, I was like, hey, Ronnie, great win tonight, man. Congratulations. Welcome to Race of Heroes Victory Lane. I guess you forgot to go to the scales. And his first response was, I didn't know what to do. I ain't done that before. I didn't know what to do. So it was just funny, man. But it was just absolutely great, man. And to see the look on his face. His wife was in tears. It reminded me of Nut Up or Shut Up last year with you and your mom.
My mama,
Racing Granny was crazy.
Excited for him than anybody there.
Oh yeah.
And because she looks at him like that's her other son.
Oh yeah, it was. That was special, to witness that with him. And also
316 motorsports car.
Let's just add on this right here though. Ronnie won that race on Friday night, so he got the little nuts.
That's right.
He got the steroid nuts.
That's right.
Yeah, Dave, those trophies were badass.
Those trophies were so cool. Dave kept coming up. Hey man, how the guys like it? How the guys liking how the guys liking the lanyard? With the nut up or shut up deal on it. And I was like, man, they think this is the greatest thing in the world.
I think that's really awesome. To having a something different trophy, not just a regular old trophy. Every time something different.
And the trophies last year were super cool.
With the big nut,
with the big nut on it, and all that kind of stuff.
I got one in my garage, just so y'all.
And we'd have had two if we had somebody that was in the way.
I got you.
I mean, he just
I got
couldn't
you.
help it.
Well, also, so Ronnie Long picks up his first win on Friday night, and then I think it's Chase Singletary out of Burgaw. He was driving Ridenhour's car, I guess. Yeah, so
Jaden Bolin's old car.
So he picks up a win there too.
Who finished second?
Who finished second? That would be Ronnie Long again. Ronnie Long, for one and two, the Hulk was there. But also on Friday and Saturday night, kicking off 2021 track champion for the street stock, Razzle-Dazzle, Rick Razzlard. Did it 2 times in a row, back to back, repeat performance. And also we had the Carolina Outlaw Super Streets. They were 100%. There. And, man, the milkman brought the milk and the cookies, brother. Johnny Moore out of Marion, South Carolina. And talking about tires, you mentioned earlier, hey, Jerry Johnson, had a tire that looked really bad.
Right.
Man, Johnny Moore's tires, right rear and left rear, were completely gone.
Yeah.
Completely
My thing is, Skip, I know we've got a tire shortage and everything else, but in most cases, we're not going to be able to run them tires in 2 races anyway.
No.
So why not make the track where it comes down to the drivers?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, it's like you said, stagger, setup, that goes out the window.
When that thing gets fast,
when it gets like that.
When that thing gets fast, people forget there's a brake in those cars.
Oh, that's right.
I mean,
I honestly liked it the way it was, and like I said, it was hard on tires, but it wasn't like it was a dry slick. The track still had plenty of bite in it.
It did.
And I honestly made the mistake because I didn't think there was much of a top side, but damn, Zach Blackwell made a fool out of me because I took the low one on a restart. He went by Daniel and myself, and went on up there.
And I commend Zach for this. Ain't talking down on Zach or anything like that. There, I feel like Zach took a 4th place car and finished second with it.
Oh yeah,
because I felt like AJ and Daniel both were better than him, but he put that thing on the high side and let her eat.
Yeah,
yes, sir.
He did.
He put it up there and let her eat, and that's what people don't get. We can talk about the cushion and all that right there, and there ain't no cushion up there, and there ain't no top side up there. Or there's not going to be no top side up there if you don't get up there and run.
If you don't get up there.
You got to have those trophies that they give out. You got to have those things right there.
That's
and get up there and
exactly
go on and blow it off, and you blow it off early, so it comes in late.
That's right.
And that's what Zach did. He got caught 3 or 4 times jumping up there, lose 2 or 3 positions. He beat you on the
because there was a couple times I got him.
Yeah.
But he kept going that top. I texted him with him. He said, "I knew I'd hit it right one time." I said, "Well, you made a fool out of me because you were like you shot out of a cannon when you hit it right."
And I don't want us to repeat ourselves over and over and over, but you got to commend Wayne, Dave, Freddie, and them guys, man. They said they told us before we went back out there. They said we're gonna wet the top of it, try to knock that dust down some. We're gonna let it eat. We're gonna let y'all race. I mean, the track was there.
Oh yeah, it was there, and that's what that's what the guys want. I mean, that's what you guys want in a racetrack.
I love that.
And I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna ask you a question here in just a second. Okay. But while we're talking about Zach Blackwell and how he was wheeling that piece the other night, man.
Daniel said we should watch the video again. What do you want us to watch, Daniel? Ice Cream Man, tell us what you want us to watch.
In the when you talk about Zach Blackwell. What a great job he did driving the other night. Man, what a tribe, what a community, what a crowd of Blackwell.
When Clay won.
Clay Blackwell, the Johnsons and the Blackwells, man, that was so awesome. And this little dude, man, he gets out to in that car, and so he got his snapback on with a flat bill on, with his helmet, everything matching. I was like, man, this is my man right here. He's coming down.
We do got to give Daniel some credit because he did jump up there to the high side too.
Oh, yeah.
He did. And but Zach just happened to be the one that took it to second place. And the thing was, during that interview when Clay was there, the funny thing of that whole interview to me is when you said, "Don't listen to your daddy."
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Because I said, you get any tips from the Blackwell? well, my brother said whatever, and then my daddy. I said, don't listen to your daddy. Right. Don't listen to your daddy. You just do what you did, and you'll be good to go. Right. So no harm, no foul there with Chris. We're buddies, so whatever. But also wrapping up that the weekend of Nut Up or Shut Up in that modified race. We've talked about Parker. We talked about Dustin Parker. Eric Bentley picks his win up on Friday night, and Action Jackson put on a show.
That boy's a bad boy.
He put on a really good show Saturday night to cap it off for Nut Up or Shut Up 2022.
The boy said, "What's up?"
The 93. Who said that?
Jaden.
Oh, what's up, Jaden?
Got out of church.
What's up, Jaden? I'm glad you're watching tonight. Glad you were watching tonight. Also, we got a couple of other people, man, that hit me up. Guy Sandy Mansfield out of Southport, North Carolina, has checked in to let me know he's watching tonight. We're glad that you're here with us, and I hope you enjoy what you're hearing about the Fayetteville Motor Speedway, and maybe you come join us in person sometime at Fayetteville Motor Speedway. And for everybody who watches, man, on a weekly basis, I mean, I walk around the racetrack, and, man, you guys don't, because, I mean, they know y'all, but, hey, man, when's Fouled Out going to be on again? When's Fouled Out going to be on again? It's like every time you walk around, I mean, everybody's talking about this show.
I thought we cussed too much.
Yeah.
Well, y'all
it's funny because I've had people that say, who you got on the podcast next? Who you got on the podcast next? You know, and I was like, man, I'll let Bill handle that. I said, matter of fact, I'll let him do most of the talking anyway.
Hey, so Dave
producer,
mentioned
AJ.
about great junior sprints, and that was probably one of the best junior sprint races you're ever going to see.
How many lead changes in a 12-lap feature can you see?
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That is absolutely
and they had
crazy.
a little scare there too, where the safety for Safari there was on top of that thing too.
Oh yeah, the little kid who
Willie's son, Willie and Shelly's son.
Yeah, well that car hit the other guy in the rear, and the whole front end of that car came up and slammed down. And man, that was a little bit of a scary situation too.
Well, Willie's son, actually the little dirt princess, she spun out I think and got crossed up in the racetrack, and I think he T-boned her.
Yeah, well, he didn't actually T-bone her. When she come off, she was between 3 and 4, and when she got right in the middle of the corner there, it looked like the car just really slowed down. And there again, just like this kid here's committed, he's dead in the gas, and boom, he didn't have anywhere to go.
Yeah.
Right.
But them kids put on one hell of a show, man, and to see the excitement with them, you got the guy finishing 4th running up there to hug the guy that won's neck.
In every junior sprint race, man, you see that is one thing that those kids do. That man, it's not like
it's like watching Daytona or Talladega there, man. It is. Somebody just said it, but it is. They're right there, and the draft is a thing, and there's so much strategy that goes in to driving those cars. Those kids are having to think, what am I going to do out of this corner? I've got to get a run going in to have my momentum coming up, so I can shoot that going into the next corner.
They do a phenomenal job, and that is the future of racing. I mean, these little kids, I mean, they do a good job, and Rooster does so much, man, to kind of promote that deal.
He does,
and it's not only because his kid runs in it, man. He's passionate. He's passionate about the sport and passionate about kids in general.
Yeah,
Rooster does so much. Period, for the racing community, for the community that we live in.
Oh yeah.
He is a big proponent of helping people.
He is an advocate of the sport.
That's exactly
He's
right.
an advocate of the sport.
That's a good word choice.
But he does that, and every time you turn around, man, he's on Facebook Live where he's doing his Rooster on the Threes weather deal, or he's out somewhere.
Yeah.
But he's always talking racing. He eats and sleeps and drinks racing. And, our sport need people like that. Yep. And he does a good job.
Speaking of the junior sprints, I think Wyatt picked up his first win at
Rockfish
in the junior sprints.
Hey, and also too, another class that wasn't there the other night. Let me tell you, they have like $100 deal. I think it's like $100 win for the junior sprints. Well, Brad Page in Punisher Super Street Series also gave another $100 to that too. So,
nice.
So that was a pretty cool deal. A class that doesn't even run at that track actually did something and promoted and did something, and it was for the kids too.
Yeah.
But all of the fun, we had all weekend long with the Nut Up or Shut Up. Man, Friday night after the race, man, we had a party down there in Victory Lane, didn't we?
Oh, we definitely had a
Willie
party.
Milliken put on a deal for Crystal, who turned 34.
That's right.
Reversed last week. But anyway.
She's going to probably slap you.
She probably will. But that's okay. We had a really good time, man, and had, I don't know, man, what? 25, 30 people down there. eating.
Yeah.
Man, we had barbecue that was just out of this world, big birthday cake, and man, we just had a big old time. And I told Willie that night, when he's frustrated, man, he didn't have a good night on Friday. I said, the only thing that matters is the next race.
That's right.
The only thing that matters is the next race, and what would really be cool for you and for this racing team, for you to pick up a win on Saturday to top this deal off after what we did here tonight,
Right.
and win this race for your wife, man, because that you talk about a couple, and I've said this in this studio before, there's not another man that has a race car from the time he steps out of that hauler that works any harder on a race car than Willie Milliken. But let me tell you this, his wife, his right side, his better half there,
Yep.
she works. Now, she don't turn wrenches and stuff like that, but she works just as daggone hard as he does.
And then she has to put up with his asshole.
That's right. Well, yeah. But and Willie can get a little sideways like that, but he wants to win, man.
That's right.
He's a competitor. He wants to win.
We told him that if he keeps positive vibes, that he'd get the monkey off his back.
Yeah.
And it's like you said a while ago, it ain't the fact of whether who's the best car or anything else. The best car is the one that's on victory lane. At the end of any race, I mean, you can have your opinions and say, okay, well, I mean, hell, we were the fastest car on the racetrack by 2/10.
I feel like we're fastest car both nights.
And we finished in the back because we got black flag. But the fastest car won.
That's right.
We're not going to take something away from the 01 in Singletary because we suffered the fortunes of getting black flag. You know what I mean? And the whole thing is, think about that crew that she's got over there to keep straight.
That's right.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you got Jamie, Daniel, Paul.
And one thing, too, on behalf of Fayetteville Motor Speedway and all the fouled out crew here, send out condolences and our sympathy. Jamie lost his grandmother. She passed away this week.
Yeah.
I think I read up where I think her funeral is Friday or whatever, I think, in Roanoke Rapids. So, and Jamie is a very vocal guy at a racetrack.
I like Jamie.
Yeah.
And he loves him some Willie Milliken, but you know what? At the end of the day, he's a good guy.
That's right.
And, prayers and thoughts to he and his family to passing his grandmother this week.
Absolutely.
But yeah, it's a lot of fun, man, when we're down there eating and stuff like we do. We had the fire going Saturday night, man. There wasn't any place better to be.
needed it.
And they could not have put they didn't have enough water to put on that racetrack. With the way the wind was blowing and all that. But I mean, it's set up for a great surface for our guys to put on a show.
And I think me, you, and Wayne were talking down there in Victory Lane. And so we got to hit the boss man, the track promoter, the track owner, Dave, in the pocket a little bit tonight. And we got to make him commit to at least 2 VIP tickets for someone to go down in the pits and eat with you in the pits and then go up on Victory Lane with you during the interview sessions for each of the race winners.
Absolutely,
and
yeah.
see exactly what y'all do down there.
Oh, yeah.
So, Dave, we're going to need 2 VIPs, but we got to figure out how we're going to make these people win this. How can they win this? We need to do something here on the show
Right.
to try to promote it and try to get them to win it. And like I said,
contest.
not to mention, they can also see what those guys down there in those fire trucks do.
Yeah, you see what the fire trucks do, and you can stand back.
Frankie
and,
and Tech.
you can stand back and see what a crew does in the hot pit area to get that guy back on the track.
And we want this, guys. We prefer this to be some of the fans that are not really connected with the teams.
Yeah.
Right.
Some of the people that are sitting up there in the stands that spending their money to come there and watch those teams.
Absolutely.
We want to try to get at least 2 of them and get them. And if we can't set it up this particular time, we'll come back and address it. But we need to figure out a way that they can win 2 VIP tickets.
Oh, absolutely. That'd be great.
And me, you, and Wayne to furnish the food.
Oh, absolutely.
And,
we eat good down there.
Oh, yeah.
We eat good.
It'd be cool. You know what you need? You need to get them some kind of headphones, noise canceller or something, and plug a receiver into them so they can actually hear how much actually goes on that they don't hear when they're sitting in the stands behind the scenes.
Well, it's like I said earlier. The people who come and sit on those concrete bleachers or stands from all the way from turn 1 to turn have no idea the manpower and what it actually takes to put on that race that you pay to get in to see on any given night. I mean, Bill hit it off, man. Every name after name, and we probably left somebody off, and that's apologies. I mean, there's just so much to it, man. It takes so much to do that. So, oh gosh.
Ruffy is Kip's long lost kid. So Ruffy's got a lifetime VIP down there with Kip anyway, so it doesn't matter. He doesn't need that.
Now, I've adopted Marion House, so he's yours. He's yours. He's yours.
But,
Go ahead, AJ.
no, I was going to say, so for some of y'all that are waiting on, we had said that David Taylor was going to be on the show tonight. Unfortunately, David's got a race coming up this weekend. It's been a short week. He's going to be heading to Natural Bridge to race. So he told us, if there's any way I can take a rain check, get rescheduled, and come back on. I said, yeah, man, absolutely, that's fine. David Taylor does so much for the racing community, man. He does so much for my team with Bobby Taylor. You guys too. He's been around the sport forever. So we told him, yeah, absolutely, man. We understand you got to get 2 cars ready to go. So we will have him rescheduled on the show.
He is definitely one of the legends of Fayetteville Motor Speedway.
Everybody knows Bobby Taylor Oil Company, man.
And everybody that's anybody where it comes to Fayetteville Motor Speedway, they know who David Taylor is.
Oh, yeah.
From the days of Danny Parker, David Taylor, Ellis Ward, Dwayne Parker, and Scott Autry running 6-cylinders.
I got you.
To running late models. And David has drove
Jeffrey
a late
Tyndall.
model.
Jeffrey Tyndall days.
Yes.
Yeah.
Jeffrey Tyndall. David's just been there. I'm 51 years old, and I can't think of a time that I went to the racetrack that David Taylor wasn't there.
Yeah, I mean he has been racing.
And I'll give you another one, not to take any spotlight off of David Taylor. How many times you ever been to Fayetteville Motor Speedway in your life, my life, that you didn't see Freddie Manor?
Oh, that's
ever,
gosh, man.
Ever.
That's 100%.
Ever.
And Freddie, that's why I wanted to make sure that I shouted out all the staff.
Oh, yeah.
Because, people don't understand, okay, even if they got paid, they don't get paid enough for what they do. They're working for love.
And 2 other names that I think about down there right now, I can see their face as good as I see yours. Kevin and Hunter. Kevin, the guy who drives the wrecker. And, man, those guys, they orchestrate. And people just don't know. Now, Ray Campbell puts those cars down in there as pack cars. Getting them things lined up and getting them where they start and run and jumping them off. It takes people,
that's right.
To do that.
It takes people to drive them.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, my boys love it.
And Kevin,
my boys love it. They're going to tear something up. They got dents, and Philip's going to drive it like he stole it now.
Me and Kevin went to school together since kindergarten.
And then I think his wife. She's up in concession stand. I think Hunter's girlfriend is up there in the deal too.
Then you got the food, and not counting the concession stand short, but you got the food trucks.
Oh, absolutely.
You got Dylan Thompson's what is it?
Cavity Connection, and Bobby and Tony would Rage Rooster. And hey, let's give
Homes and whatever it is, the woman that sells the ice cream.
Let's give a big shout out
ice or whatever it is
to the payout window ladies that have to put up with the people at the end of the night who are getting kind of shitty, who have had a bad run or something.
They give me hell when I come in the gate. Yeah. I think somebody's paying them to do this shit.
That if we have a bad night on the racetrack, sometimes we forget that they're there trying to do their job and trying to do it to the best that they can do and the best of the ability, and they might not have the payout ready. So, be patient with them. I know before I've been the one that's been a little impatient, years ago.
And being that it's 1:30 or 2 o'clock in the morning,
they're ready to go home,
Keep in mind, they've been there since about 3 registering y'all together.
Exactly,
okay? And keep in mind, too, that online registration and getting to that registration shack, man, get over there and do that as soon as you possibly can. It makes it so much easier on the people who are entering in the data and doing all that kind of stuff. And, while we're giving shout-outs, we're talking about shout-outs to people who work at the racetrack, and, we're just sitting here promoting and talking about everything good at Fayetteville Motor Speedway. But, man, we got to give a shout-out to I'm going to call him a local boy. He's an Elm City, North Carolina guy. How about Austin Holcomb going to Bristol? Showing out.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I heard he went down there and waxed butt.
Oh yeah, he did a good job, man. And I saw his dad. I was over at Halifax for the Mark Batt Memorial, and his dad and I were sitting there talking. Yeah, man, we finna leave. We finna leave tomorrow. We're going to Bristol race all week next week. And I said, well, just tell Austin, don't knock nobody up under no truck like he did last year. But congratulations.
Don't Will Smith anybody.
Yeah, please don't.
Hey, and Dave, we need to know from you, can we get those 2 VIP tickets for 2 fans to join Kip in Victory Lane? Me, Wayne, and Kip's going to provide all the food. And like I said, Kip can take them, show them what it's like to see the cars come in the hot pits, what it's like to get the cars up on Victory Lane, what it's like to do his job in Victory Lane. and basically they can get an understanding of what it takes to make a race happen. Anything you need, he says. So
Absolutely.
James Johnson is the first person to come on here and say would be great as a fan to be able to go to be at Victory Lane and watch the hot pits. So my vote is to give James Johnson the very first VIP pass
Nice.
in the pits
I
at
tell you
Fayetteville
what,
Motor
let's just do
Speedway.
this. Why don't we just do this then? If you want to give one ticket to James Johnson, let's give him 2 to bring a friend.
That'll work.
Let's
Is that
do it.
good with you, Dave?
Let's just do that.
Yeah, and while Dave is answering it, but he's always really great about anything we want to do to help promote the track. I did a photo contest where I was gonna buy a pit pass or something the other day for whoever had the most likes, and I called and I just wanted to make sure it was okay and tell him, hey, I'll pay for the thing when I get there, so on and so forth. He's like, man, don't worry about it, I got it, Corky's wife won it, Miss Rose Bent Strickland. But then they called me. They said, look, we want to do something for the kids. So they wanted to take that. And what we're going to do is we're going to split that pit pass because they went ahead and paid for their weekend into 4 pit passes for kids. And we're going to figure out a way to do this. So that will be compliments of, the Team 32 Racing, Corky, and them.
I'm going to let you speak on this. Kim Matthews. So y'all know, behind the flag stand, every single week at Fayetteville Speedway, there's a young man back there, and he is mimicking our flag guy. From the green flag to the passing flag to the checker flag.
Well, actually, this little wannabe flag guy is growing. It all started, and I'm not sure. I don't know what the kid's name is, man. But if somebody knows his
tell us
kid's
his
name,
name on here.
This kid travels Michael Roush wherever he goes.
Nice.
Wherever he goes, and let me tell you something, buddy. The racing is great.
Not to stop you, but this guy right here just said something, and we gonna press Dave for this right here. He said we should let him flag a junior sprint race at Fayetteville Motor Speedway.
Absolutely.
I think that would be absolutely
Well,
phenomenal.
the kid that I'm talking about, and if Bill Dobler, if you're watching, he'll probably know his name. Because the kid, I'm telling you, man, he's worth the price of admission.
Yeah, he is. He definitely is.
Let me tell you, he's got a headset on. I don't know if he hear anything up there or not. He's just got it on, just looking the part. But he puts on a tremendous show.
Oh, he does.
And the kid that I'm talking about now that follows Roush around, he actually flagged at Rockfish, if I'm not mistaken, one time last year. I think Bill and those guys contacted that kid, and they said, man, he turned that joint out. It was great. See, Carson Matthews, not the one who follows Michael. So Carson Matthews is. See, there's actually that kid that follows Roush. And then
Charlie said he's the one. He follows me on the race receiver. That's maybe why he's throwing the checkered flag when he should be throwing the green.
Oh, okay. So he is listening to.
I'm just joking, Charlie.
Charlie, quit cussing them kids like you do the legend drivers.
But,
but there's about 3 or 4 of them that it's just fun to see them, watch them do that, and they're learning too.
Right.
But that one kid, he's got double flags going on and everything.
I went up in the stands before I come down to the pits with you the other night, and the stands, man, was so, I ain't gonna say hostile, but because it wasn't hostile, it was just like, okay, everybody was pulling for their dog.
Oh yeah.
I mean, everybody was out there at it.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, the fans was live, and like I said, this kid, man, he puts on a show every single week.
One of my 2 favorite things that he does is when you get to the halfway point, he'll take his flags and he does it like that, and 5 to go, he'll give them. And then he'll take it down to the bottom. He'll shake it like that. He really does put on a show.
I like it when he's getting ready to tell him to go green.
He's like directing the band, son. I mean, he really does put on a good show. And one thing I want to maybe get some feedback here from maybe some of the race car drivers. One thing that Dave started doing last year that was really cool, as opposed to doing the checks, man, giving away these VP racing flags and having the day and the date that they won the race and signed by a race official, that it's official, that, and everybody's so used to me interviewing them and, hey, let me get a picture with you so I can send it up to Mandy so she can put it on the Facebook page. They always, hey, man, here's your flag back. The look on their face, hey, nah, man, that flag's yours. Are you serious? They think that is
just noticed that when y'all got to flag Ronnie Friday night.
Well, Ronnie did it. is it Timmy Mills?
Yeah.
Timmy Mills.
In the 602 late model.
Yeah, he was old, you know. And Rick
awesome.
Razzlard, man, thought that was the coolest thing. Man, now I got two of them, you know. So, and Dave is always asking, you know, a lot of times, you know, hey, what do you think, man? The guys like the flags, and I tell him all the time, man, those guys absolutely think that is the coolest thing, you know. And everybody likes to see a check, you know, and how much they won or whatever. But that flag, feature winner, and it's signed by a track official,
Right.
and it's dated. You know, it's actually a pretty cool thing. So, like you said, not only does Dave have a open heart and an open mind to let's promote things at the Fayetteville Motor Speedway, he throws out new different things to make it different. So it's not ho-hum, the same thing all the time. Like the deal he did with Nut Up or Shut Up, man. That was
I love it.
The little deal on Friday night and the big set on Saturday night. That was the coolest thing, man. People love that stuff.
And you know, the other thing that I like that he's done that I've noticed at the track too is you know, down the front straightaway, you know, for Nut Up or Shut Up, there's a big banner says Nut Up or Shut Up. During the Speed Week, said NC Speed Week. So
Absolutely.
he's like he's branding each race so that you're not seeing the same thing when you're going to the race. If you notice, stuff
And that
changes.
does a lot
on
on
there.
TV
Big
too.
bull too.
Yeah, and you
Got the big bull up on the old little
the
timing
old
tower.
yeah.
Right? Didn't somebody sit there and time or something in the middle? The
you
tower
know,
in the middle of the
Yeah.
pits?
Yeah, I hadn't even seen that.
Yeah,
The
it's got a
bull
big
is
bull
big
that
old
says
bull. But you know, I think that's
What on
really
Bentley
cool.
Lane used to be.
I think that's really cool though that banner changes every week because that just looks good. You know, when they're doing that Fayetteville
Yeah.
Motor Speedway TV thing too. You
Yeah.
know,
Charlie, we want him to flag a junior sprint race. Can we make that happen? And Willie and Crystal Milliken, Alan Beckner said, can he come and tour the shop one day? We're definitely growing, Dave.
absolutely,
Yeah, definitely doing good.
absolutely.
And like I told y'all from the beginning, I mean, me and you've talked about this a lot, Kip. As what we do over here at Fouled Out, we're going to try our best, not just Fayetteville Motor Speedway, all racing. Like, did you lose volume?
Okay, yeah,
Okay.
come back.
But we're going to try our best to promote all racing around here, you know, and like we've done the motorcycles on here.
Yeah.
And AJ was like, hey, you got to sort of take control here because I really don't know shit about motorcycles.
Right.
But it turned out to be a great show. It reached like 3,800 viewers. Hell, we had people on here commenting from Africa, from Ghana.
And
That's great.
we've got and we are going to do probably what me and Bill were talking about it, where we just sit around and talk. You know, racing's always going to creep into it. It's in our blood. It's in our veins. No matter.
right.
But you know, we'll probably have one show where we are just going to talk about what the hell's going on with the world today and the shit
What's up, Chad?
that's going all crazy.
Andy Osborne.
Oh, go-kart, buddy.
Yes, we can definitely bring Shane Hunt on. We can bring the number one stunner on, Stunnerville.
Stunner.
Fayetteville Motorsports
There
Park,
you go.
Stunnerville, USA.
So I guess now as we could talk, we've talked about, we've recapped North Carolina Speed Weeks. Congratulate all our drivers. We thank all of our fans for being there. There again, that King of the Cushion night, as I said earlier, it all originated right here. And thank you to the fans who did their part in trying to, you know, make it as big as it was. Because without you guys, it wouldn't have been what it was. I mean, it would have been big, but it wouldn't have been as big.
Right.
Then we roll into Nut Up or Shut Up. And now we look forward to Easter weekend. Side of Fayetteville Motor Speedway, Carolina Clash Super Late Model Dirt Series is going to be at the Fayetteville Motor Speedway,
Hopefully our boy Dalton
and
will
that
be
is
there.
that's going to be a big one. That's going to be a big one. Joey Chapman and that crowd, man, they do put on a show, and I'm telling you, it's great when we have our limited late model guys who are there. But man, when them supers roll into the Carolina Bull Ring, I mean, it is something, you know, and I would like to encourage, you know, everybody that comes to the racetrack every week, continue to come, support local dirt track racing, but bring a friend, find somebody that you know that has never been to a dirt track race in their
bring
life.
Yeah.
Bring them, and I promise you, next week or when the
know.
next scheduled race is, they'll want to come with you again.
I don't know if you've been paying attention, but since we started this show, there's an elderly gentleman. His name is Ron Willer. I call him Pops.
Yep.
Had no clue anything about dirt racing.
He didn't. He
Had
approached
no
me
clue
at a
about
basketball
racing,
game.
period. And he asked Chad at a basketball game about it. He called me on the phone. He said, "Hey, do you think I could come over there and hang out with y'all? I said, anything you want to do, Pops? Heck yeah, you can come over there and hang out with us. Well, he ain't missed one now.
Yeah, he messaged me
Well,
earlier.
hangs out at your trailer?
Well, no, he goes up in the stands.
Okay,
Right.
I got you.
He's older, so he ain't going to want
I
to go
got
up
you.
and down that thing. But he's the first one when fouled out. So
What's up, guys?
the first one.
Yep.
Every single show.
He's a church member too.
Yes,
Yeah.
he is a church member.
So
So,
he
we try to
excuses
keep it
our
a little
language.
bit clean. He prays for us when we get on here and get to cussing and that.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
He says, are we going to have a track like Saturday, but for the Supras? That would be a question for Dave. I'm sure that those guys have tires available to them because if my understanding, Hoosier was making sure that those series got the tires first.
Well, World of Outlaws and Lucas Oil, they're going to get their fair share too. But, I mean, your Dryden guys.
Yeah, but
So
I mean,
James, we need you to tell me and Kip who it is that you would like to bring with you. Or we can just leave the 2 tickets in your name at the pit entrance.
and have it listed James Johnson and 1 guest.
Right.
Yeah.
And you can pick it up there. And if you're not sure how to get across the racetrack or whatever, you can come over to my trailer and I'll get you down to Kip. I'll call Kip, get Kip to come get you in his truck, a golf cart, or whatever we need to do to get you down there.
Yeah.
Dave's already said that we can definitely put that there. So I will can get with Shay or Dave and get them to leave the name down there for the April 16th race.
Absolutely.
And you can do some of your fabulous corn and some wings.
Oh,
I
yeah.
hope you like wings and corn.
We'll have a good time with that. Before you, let's see, Jaden Bolin checks in here, said, I want to thank Dave and all of the staff for putting their very best effort and all their hard work for an awesome racetrack. Thank you, Jaden. We appreciate that.
And that's one of the things right there that kid, man. And this is another thing that you and I've talked about. I told you that interview that you done with him with his grandfather. It gave me a different level of respect for the kid. You know what I mean?
Well, that and the person that his grandfather is too.
no doubt.
I'm just telling you, man. That I remember.
got good genes.
I remember, seeing Jaden as. I want to see this kid get a win, man. I want to see this kid get a win. He needs a break, man. He gets a win, and he starts clipping off the wins, man, left and right. And his granddad, Tony Bolin, man, phenomenal guy. It don't get any better than him. I just tell you, he is salt of earth, good guy. And I saw him, and it's just like he's like, man, who is this cheerleader up here, man, for Jaden Bolin? Man, does he know him or what's the deal? I mean, this guy's just, just really, into every single lap of the race. And, he's just cheering on his grandson. And at that time, I didn't know that was his grandson. We were at the Night of Champions over was it Paradise Acres?
Yeah.
Where we did. So I went over, me and Wayne Jr. went over, just, support the racetrack, be there, with our winners, because I, are with those guys on a weekly basis. And Tony, his granddad, comes over, and I kind of get to putting 2 and 2 together. That's Jaden's granddad.
Yeah.
And, man, let me tell you something. And, what a great family. What a great witness they are. What a great standard of people to be, both on and off the track.
Yeah.
Great people. As a matter of fact, I'd go ahead and tell you right now, this weekend, if nothing crazy don't happen, I don't have a dirt race to go to at Fayetteville Motor Speedway, and Jaden is going to be running Saturday afternoon at the Florence Motor Speedway, and I'm going to go, and I'm going to support Jaden, and I'm going to just cheer him on. I'm going to get to sit back and watch a race and not have to work. I love that kind of stuff too. But I'm going to go check out Jaden this weekend, and we wish him the best of luck. He actually ran this past weekend at the asphalt track in Dillon, sat fast time. Coming off of turn 4 on a restart, the guy who was in 4th position kind of jumps the start, swings out kind of wide on the start, and wads up to 3 cars and puts them all together. Well, they all go to the back, and Jaden Bolin brought it from the back all the way to the front and captured a win at Dillon Motor Speedway this weekend. And so I'm going to go support him this weekend. And like you said, man, that interview that night, and you know what was so cool about that? Jaden has gotten into kind of a little bit of a routine where he's been visiting Victory Lane, and Tony has trouble hearing some. And I didn't know that particular night, I saw Jeremiah, which is Jaden's brother. Yeah, Jeremiah, Jaden's brother. I was like, hey, man, where's Grandpa at tonight? And he said, well, if Jaden wins, Papa wants to be up in the stands so he can hear it. He said he can't hear anything down here.
Right.
And so knowing he was up there, and I thought, well, if old Papa Tony's going to diss me and kick me to the curb to go up to the stand, I'm going to call him out while he's up there. Right. And, man, what a special night, man, that was. It was chilling, chills down your back to hear the gratitude and the appreciation for what.
Well, that man makes a lot of sacrifices for that kid.
He absolutely does.
To
do what he does, absolutely.
One thing about him, though, he even comes by with us. He don't know us from Adam. He just met us racing.
He's a super nice guy. Great people, man.
Good people.
My kind of people. But Jaden's granddad is that kind of guy that would give you the shirt off his back if he knows you or not. Right. And that's what he's teaching that young kid, because you watch Jaden Bolin. I've seen him. I saw him one time last year. If I was him, I would have been through the roof. I mean, he got turned, car got messed up. And instead of him running his mouth or doing anything or showing retaliation or whatever, he just gets out, walks off the car, walks off the track, and just kept to himself. Right. That's because that's been instilled in him by his grandfather, Tony. And those are great guys. And just wanted to give him a little shout out there. Matter of fact, Nick White's come on here and said, Jaden Bolin is the real deal. He gets it done on dirt one night, asphalt the next night. I watched him win it Friday I watched him win Friday at Fayetteville and win it Saturday at Dillon. Yep, that's exactly right.
So before we take it out of here, before AJ takes us out of here, I want to tell Evan Matthews we are definitely going to get Carson up there on that flag stand, the flag of junior sprint race. If we have to tie Charlie up and make Kip the race director that night,
easy now, don't do that.
We're gonna definitely get him up there. And it's a pleasure watching him and seeing what he does. And he says here that Carson's going to flag at the Charlotte XR Series in May, which is a big deal. James Johnson, again, me and Kippa see that you got 2 VIP passes.
And James Johnson's coming here. He's going to be camping at the track for that weekend.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Awesome.
And we'll make sure that happens. Again, like I said, guys, thank y'all for tuning in. Kip, thanks for being on the show, recapping the Speed Weeks, recapping Nut Up or Shut Up. Thanks to Chad, for sitting over there drinking beer.
And everybody be sure to come out to Fayetteville Motor Speedway April 16th for the Carolina Clash.
Saturday before Easter.
So has anybody heard if Dalton's going to be there?
That I do not know. I don't know
what their schedule is. Number 18D in Fayetteville, North Carolina that night. Yeah. And let him wheel that thing to a win down here.
Well,
Kip, you had a question for me. I want to know what the hell it was. Forget. Thank God.
I forgot. Hold on, man. Good. I forgot.
You were too worried about Jaden.
No, I forgot. Man, I was going to ask you something. But while they continue to try to close, let me think about it here, and I'm going to hit you right back. I'm going to hit you right back.
But, again, and if you can, be sure to visit our sponsors page, Precision Suspension. As I said, Sammy speaks. The P1 Posse, they do a lot of stuff for us, man, and we really can't thank them enough. So be sure to go visit them. Also, if you're looking for one of these AJ Belanger Motorsports hats, go to ajbelanger.com. I got them on a merchandise site. And also, pretty soon I'll be opening up an entire parts store online on ajbelanger.com, so you'll be able to order some parts and have it shipped straight to your house from there. So did you figure out what it was, Kip?
I cannot remember. Just as soon as you sign off, I'll remember it. But I'll ask him, and then we'll bring it back on another show, because I hope you guys have me back, man.
Yeah,
I enjoy being here with
you didn't bring
guys.
no damn corn, so we're going to have to bring you back.
Look, I didn't have time.
No beer, no corn.
I didn't have time. I figured Bell was still full from Saturday night and Friday night.
Shit on us with the food, but it's okay. We're going to give you a pass this time.
I
appreciate thirsty. It. Well, thank you guys, man, for what you guys do, man, because this show, for what you think, man, I'd just be just some little podcast, man. There's people all over everywhere. I mean, I don't know if you've got a tally of how many people that have watched this thing or how many people are on here tonight, but, man, comments just keep rolling and rolling and rolling in here, man. And what you guys do, it is what happens on the track. But at the end of the day, you guys are promoting our racetrack, Fayetteville Motor Speedway, and you're promoting the sport that we all love. We live Monday through Thursday, Friday, and can't wait with bated breath to get to the racetrack on Saturday night. And Fayetteville Motor Speedway, man, they do a phenomenal job. I mean, there have been changes there. Some may like, some don't like. But, hey, you know what? I mean, we're getting car counts up, and cars are coming there. And those guys, they do, man. Wayne Jr., Freddie, Dave, All of those guys, man, they bust their butt every single
Well,
week,
you
man.
know, since the show started, we've put Dave on the spot several times on here.
Oh, yeah.
Like with the
Good or
king of
bad.
the cushion.
And let me ask you this: whenever you ask him, has he ever told you no?
Immediately.
Yeah.
Has he ever told you no?
Immediately.
Without hesitation.
Immediately.
Yeah.
And he appreciates what you guys do too. I can tell you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And thank you so much. And you know, I want to say thank you to everyone. Thank you, Kip. For Kip, Chad, Bell Jr., and myself, you know, thank you all you fans are watching. And if you are a racetrack out there, if you are a race car driver, anybody, and you want to be on the show, or you want us to help you promote your track, or your motorsports team, whether it's drag racing or whatever, you know, shoot us a message on AJ Belanger Motorsports. Shoot Bell a message on Facebook or anything like that, so that we can, you know, get everything, you know, handle for you, and we can help promote it. We don't if we can't promote it if we don't know. You know, we don't have time.
Let's give a shout out real quick to the real deal. Butch Norton.
Oh man,
Won a lot of races.
Number 44.
And congratulations to him.
I didn't think I knew that.
Congratulations to the Dirt Dauber on the purchase of his brand new 2022 20-foot South Bay, courtesy of Chatley Boat Marine. Area boater since 1967 and longtime supporter of the Fayetteville Motor Speedway.
Yeah,
Damn it, man.
All right,
Might have
guys.
a little mini commercial.
Yeah, we're gonna have to have Kip do all our voiceovers for tomorrow.
Pimp his ass out.
Voiceover.
All right,
Bye,
guys. Well, thank you so much for watching. Tune in again. I think next week, Rooster and Swanee got someone on Shine Runners Racing Radio. Stay tuned for Shine Runners Racing Radio on that. AJ Belanger Motorsports, Precision Suspension, and we will see y'all next time. Have a
Peace,
good
brothers.
Bye, God.
Later.
Give me a bye, God, AJ, before we go.
one. Bye, guys.